My parents demanded I give my sister my Rolex watch because I never wear it. Hours later, my photos and cereal hit a listing. I emailed the brand. They flagged the number, then a pawn shop called to verify ownership with the seller waiting. I'm the kind of watch person the internet hates. Let's start there. I don't wear them. I collect them. I like the stories, the engineering, the little heartbeat tick of an automatic moving, just because the world keeps moving. It's a museum on a wrist, and I'm the nerd who keeps the artifacts behind glass. I've got a 2-slot winder on my dresser humming like a cat. One slot is empty, aspiration, because collectors are masochists. The other holds my problem, a steel sports model from that brand we don't name because litigators have feelings. It was my "you survived a garbage year" gift to myself last spring. I wore it twice. Not because I didn't love it, but because I love loving it, if that makes sense. It lives on the winder, polished, perfect, heavy with meaning. Cue family dinner, lasagna night, ceramic casserole that could stop a bullet, my mother in her apron like it's a costume labeled MOM. My dad was there, the human screensaver, on but not interactive. Aunt Sloane came too, which I should have clocked as a plot twist, because Sloane never shows up without an agenda and a cardigan you can hear from across the room. My little sister Ivy had her hair blown out and wore the kind of blazer that photographs well on LinkedIn. I already felt the stage lights warming. We weren't 5 minutes into garlic bread when Mom went, "You never wear that watch," like it was a prayer she'd practiced. I glanced at Dad. Nada. He was buttering bread like it owed him money. Sloane leaned in. "Sweetie, you know things are meant to be used." Her smile was the weaponized kind, the one with a tiny serrated edge. Ivy did the soft voice. She always does the soft voice when there's an ask hiding in it. "I have a big interview this week. VP track." She touched my forearm. "It would make such an impression, just to borrow, obviously. And here. Let me translate. You don't use it the right way, so I should. You don't deserve the thing you bought, but I do. Also, family." I felt my jaw do that clench laugh thing. Family is my kryptonite word. Family means perform gratitude or get banished to the shame gulag. Mom ladled lasagna like a priest with communion and added, "It's just sitting there, Quinn. Don't be selfish," Sloane chimed. "It's not about the object. It's about support." Dad said nothing, which is his hobby. "Okay," I heard myself say, because years of be agreeable carved grooves in my brain, and my brain rides those grooves like a roller coaster you can't disembark. "Sure, you can borrow it." Borrow it. I said it twice, like if I said borrow enough, the universe would underline the word in neon. And here's my first mistake. Hi, welcome. I didn't half measure it. I didn't make a ceremony of rules. I didn't snap a selfie holding a newspaper. I went home after dinner, took out the watch, wiped it with a microfiber cloth like a nervous butler, placed it in the green box with the pillow, tucked the warranty card into the little sleeve. I even included the extra links in the tiny plastic bag. I said, "I'll drop it by," because handing it over felt cleaner than making Ivy come to my place and pretend she wasn't casing the rest of my life. I didn't think about the fact that the photos of the cereal, caseback, and warranty were still on my phone from when I registered it. It felt like handing someone your car and leaving the title in the glove compartment because you're family. Genius. When Ivy opened the door, she did that squeal that makes you feel like a magician and an ATM in the same breath. "You are saving me," she said, and hugged me in the doorway. "You have no idea." Mom's voice floated from deeper inside. "Make sure you thank your sister properly," which, in our dialect, means don't question me later. I drove home narrating to myself like a hostage negotiator. "It's fine. It's just a watch. It's just for the interview. She'll bring it back, and you'll put it on the winder, and it'll hum like a cat again." "For family," I told the empty car, like saying it out loud would bless the transaction. TP1 right there, the lie I fed myself. For family as a sedative, borrow as anesthesia. I did a stupid little ritual anyway, because I know myself. I set a calendar reminder called Text Ivy About Watch, Friendly, for 3 days later. I walked past the humming winder and felt the absence like a missing tooth. Then I sat on my couch, scrolled Instagram, and because I'm petty, I checked Ivy's story. Lunch. Mirror selfie. A boomerang of her latte heart. No watch. Okay, I thought. Maybe she's saving it for the big day. Maybe she's not as performative as I am. Maybe the earth is flat and the moon is cheese. Pick a myth. A few hours later, I got a DM from my friend Maya. Just a link and the words, is this your watch? My stomach flipped like a bad pancake. I tapped the link. Listing. Anonymized marketplace site I won't name because SEO doesn't deserve this. Crisp photos. My box, my pillow. The exact hairline scratch I made changing a strap, and then pretended was patina. Then the money shot. Warranty card. Serial number front and center like a billboard. It was the kind of photo only someone with the full set could take. The caption might as well have said, "Hi Quinn, I'm making your nightmare convenient." I went cold in the face. That unique kind of cold that starts at your scalp and trickles down your spine like somebody poured ice water through your brain. You know that feeling when you realize the fight you thought you were having is a completely different fight? That. It wasn't borrow. It was liquidation. It was conversion. It was family, but make it pawn. TP2. Acceptance of reality, ugly and fluorescent. I screenshotted everything like the world's pettiest private investigator. Then I did the one competent thing I've done all week. I pulled up my email and wrote to the brand's customer service address. Subject line, suspected unauthorized resale, serial redacted. Body, your standard, dear company, I'm the registered owner of serial redacted. I purchased from authorized dealer on date, receipt attached. It was lent temporarily to a family member and appears to be listed for sale without my consent. Photos in the listing show the serial and warranty card. Please advise. I attached the invoice PDF, my initial registration confirmation, photos of the serial from day one, plus the listing screenshots. I hit send and immediately hated myself for saying, please advise, but whatever. Sometimes you need to speak fluent corporate to make corporate move. 10 minutes later, 10? My phone buzzed. The brand wrote back, a real human, not a robot, which I didn't know they employed. The email was short, professional, almost soothingly antiseptic. Thank you for your message. Based on the documentation provided, we have flagged serial redacted in our system. If any authorized retailer, service center, or pawn establishment queries the number, it will reflect as owner verification required. If contacted, we will refer them to you as the registered owner. They also asked if I wanted to file an official ownership letter for future reference. I said yes so fast my keyboard squeaked. Mini payoff, sure, but also the weirdest cocktail of relief and dread. Because on one hand, an adultier adult had entered the chat. On the other hand, flagging a serial number doesn't magically teleport a watch back into its owner's hand. It just makes people pause before they help your sibling fence your life. I sat on my bed, the hum of the empty winder suddenly loud, and tried to decide if I was overreacting. It's not like Ivy stole it from a safe. I handed it to her with both hands and a bow of my spine. But then I looked again at the listing, the crisp, braggy photo of the serial, like a license plate in a getaway car, and the adjective changed itself. Overreacting? No, late. I was late to my own boundary. I texted Ivy, calm, painfully calm. Hey, quick cue, could you bring back the watch tomorrow? I need it. 3 dots. Then nothing. 3 dots again. Then, interview is Tuesday. I'll bring it after. I stared at the dots, disappearing like little betrayals. I wrote, I saw a listing, then deleted it. I wrote, call me. Sent that, silence. And then, because the universe loves a dramatic flourish when it senses you're about to grow a spine, I got one more email ping. Same rep, new information. If anyone brings the watch with serial redacted in for verification or sale, we've attached a note to contact you directly. It was like someone handing me a trapdoor release with a polite bow. I put my phone face down, then flipped it face up because I'm a raccoon and light distracts me. I said out loud to no one, "If anyone shows up with that cereal, they're going to call me." Hook, meet jaw. I didn't know that anyone was already standing under fluorescent lights, fidgeting by a glass case, waiting while a guy behind the counter dialed my number. I didn't sleep. I lay there with my phone on my chest like a life raft, scrolling back and forth between the brand's email and the screenshots of the listing until my eyes buzzed. The winder on my dresser hummed at a frequency that suddenly felt personal, like it was reminding me that it used to have company. I bounced between rage and PR, writing little drafts in my head. The, "Hey, this is not okay," text to Ivy. The, "So happy to loan you a scarf instead," script for the next time Mom tried to redistribute my things like community property. My brain was a blender with the lid off. At 8:12 a.m., I did the most uncharacteristic thing I've ever done before coffee. I opened a fresh email and turned into the kid who used to color code her school binders. Subject: Documentation for cereal. Redacted. Owner Quinn. I attached the PDF receipt from the authorized dealer dated April 14th, 20XX. My photo from that same day with the watch taped to the outside of the box like an idiot because the bracelet was still sized for a gorilla and I was too excited to wait. The warranty card photo with the cereal. My name and the dealer stamp. The crisp shot of the caseback cereal I took in stupid for good measure. I grabbed screenshots of my bank statement with the line item and redacted everything except the merchant and the total, because identity theft is not foreplay. I wrote, "Per your request, please find attached documents proving ownership. I consent to you sharing my contact info with authorized retailers or pawn establishments, solely for verification purposes." I hit send and immediately got a polite ping. Auto reply that my case was assigned to a person named M. Delgado. Finally, a character with a last name you can hang a plot on. Maya texted me then, like she has a sixth sense for when I'm about to throw my phone through a window. "How bad?" she wrote. I sent her the link and the brand's response and a voice note that was 90% breathing and 10% feral. She called. "Okay, we're not panicking. We are documenting," she said in her lawyer-light tone, the one she uses to talk me down from flaming out in group chats. "Send me everything you sent them. And, Quinn, if you talk to Ivy, do not accuse. Describe, I saw a listing, not, you listed my watch. Facts, not labels." "Facts. My watch has a debutante ball at a pawn shop," I said, pacing. "Facts. You are the owner. Facts. The cereal is flagged. Facts. We will create a paper trail so clean it squeaks," she replied. I heard her typing. This is why I keep one competent friend. At 9:03 a.m., a new email. From a real account, not the support inbox. Subject: RE, documentation, action taken. Mr. Delgado, full signature block, title, Customer Integrity Liaison, which sounds like he negotiates with jewel thieves and HR in the same day, wrote, "Thank you, Quinn. We've updated our internal ledger. Cereal, redacted, is now flagged as requiring owner verification. In practice, that means any authorized service center or third-party establishment using our lookup will be advised to pause and contact you. Additionally, if you'd like, we can issue a letter of ownership based on your invoice and registration. This letter can be presented to law enforcement or merchants as needed." There was a blank field for my preferred contact number. I filled it in so fast I almost typed my social security number just out of enthusiasm. And then, because the universe doesn't do subtle, it does slapstick. Somewhere around 9:17 a.m., the doorbell rang. Except it wasn't my door. It was the bell in my head that rings when a plan is about to collide with a consequence. I didn't know it yet, but that was my Act 2 chime. I went to make coffee with trembling hands, set the mug down, didn't drink it. I kept refreshing the listing like maybe sold would pop up and then I could skip straight to screaming. It didn't. The caption changed though. It now read, "Serious buyers only. Verified." I had to sit down. Not because of the audacity, but because my heart did a weird double beat. Verified how? Then I remembered. There are verification services. Some of them ping the brand. Some of them are just a guy with a loop and a confident mustache. My phone buzzed again. Unknown number. Hi, is this Quinn? Last name? Who is this? I said, already snapping open notes to type everything because apparently I'm the stenographer of my own crisis. This is Ryan calling from Pearl Street Pawn and Gold. I got your info through a brand contact. We have a watch here. Serial. Redacted. The seller is requesting verification for sale. Do you have a minute to confirm ownership? And there it was. The beep 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 of the ambulance arriving at the scene of a slow-motion car crash. I could hear fluorescent lights through the phone, if that makes sense. I could hear glass cases and a guy with a goatee shifting his weight. I took one breath like they teach you in yoga and immediately weaponized my politeness. Yes, I am the registered owner. I did not authorize any sale or transfer. May I ask the first name of the person presenting it? There was a pause. They're saying the watch was gifted to them, Ryan said carefully. We just need to confirm that's accurate. Not gifted, I said. I am proud of myself. I kept my voice in the register you use when a barista messes up your order and you want them to like you anyway. It was loaned temporarily. I have proof of purchase from an authorized dealer, my name on the registration, and photos from the day of purchase. I can email or text them to you right now. He hedged. We don't need to get into family dynamics. I just need to know if there's a dispute over ownership. If there is, our policy is to hold the item for a set period and advise the parties to sort it out, or involve law enforcement if necessary. Ryan, I said, and I wish I could bottle this version of myself. Clear, calm, all marrow. There is a dispute. Please hold the watch for at least 24 hours. I'll provide an incident report number and a letter of ownership from the brand within that time frame. What's your email? He gave it to me. I typed a lightning email attaching everything Mr. Delgado had and CC'd Maya because accountability is my kink now. While I typed, I could hear a second voice near the phone on Ryan's end. It was Ivy. That soft, pliant register turned sharp and scratchy. It was a gift, she said to someone off mic, which is a fun lie when your name isn't on the thing. She's embarrassing me. Ryan came back. The seller says this was a gift. And I'm saying it was a loan, I replied. You don't need to adjudicate a family fight. You just need to not facilitate selling stolen property. That's a heavy word, he said. Use whatever word your policy uses, I said, and I'm not going to pretend I wasn't a little mean there. The brand can confirm I registered it. I'm filing a police report. If you sell it, you'll be knowingly abetting a dispute. He fell silent for a beat, and then, almost with relief, said, okay. We'll hold it for 24 hours pending documentation. I hung up and immediately went feral on my laptop. City PD had an online portal for non-emergency property reports, and I have never filled out a form faster in my life. Date of purchase. Serial. Description. Photos. The words family member made my hands shake, and I had to retype them 3 times because my fingers wanted to write sister, like saying it would undo something. Maya sat on FaceTime in my peripheral vision like a courtroom angel. Don't go nuclear in the language, she said. We want them to act, but we don't want to pin a felony on someone we might still have to share holidays with. I don't share holidays with felons, I muttered, but I softened the edges. I wrote, loaned to family member for limited use, attempted sale without consent, brand has flagged serial. I uploaded the email from Mr. Delgado, cut out the email address because I'm not going to get a customer integrity liaison stalked, and hit submit. The system spat out a confirmation screen with words that felt like aspirin on my brain. Incident report filed. Your temporary ID 2354781. A detective may follow up. I took a screenshot and almost printed it just to rub on my face. Within 40 minutes, I had a reply from Mr. Delgado. Does he nap? Does he live inside the inbox? Bless him if so. He wrote, "We've drafted the letter of ownership based on your attachments. See attached PDF. We recommend you provide this to any establishment in possession of the item, along with your incident report. We have also updated our system with a note to direct any inquiries to you." The letter had their letterhead, my name, the model reference, the serial, the date of purchase, and a sentence that might as well have been a lullaby. "Our records reflect Quinn, last name, as the owner of the above-referenced timepiece." I almost cried reading a sentence about a hunk of steel. You know why? Because paperwork is love that isn't up for debate. I fired off the letter and the incident number to Ryan. He replied within minutes. "Received. Holding item. Seller is not happy. Will not proceed until resolution." He added, "Not to take sides, but we get a lot of family transactions. Your documentation helps." Translation: his day just got significantly less boring because he's in the middle of a soap opera and he gets to do the right thing. And then my phone lit up like I'd triggered a silent alarm at Church of Mother. Mom call, Dad call, which is cute because he never calls. Aunt Sloan, call. Ivy, call. Group chat, Fam Jam Red Heart, 10 messages. I did not answer because I am an adult with survival instincts. I watched the bubbles bloom. Mom, what are you doing? Dad, call your mother. Sloan, we're all very concerned. Ivy, how could you? Mom, Ivy was humiliated at a store. Dad, call your mother. I called Maya instead. Do I pick up? I asked. You can set terms, she said. Text. I'll talk at 6 p.m. at my apartment. Maya will be present. That way, there's a witness, and it's on your turf. Witness? I said, laughing, because otherwise I'd throw up. What is this, Judge Judy? It's a family meeting, she said, which is the same thing. I texted, I'll talk at 6 p.m. at my place. Maya will be here. Please don't come early. Mom replied immediately. We'll be there. No emoji. The dread was a physical thing in my throat, a small animal trying to climb out. I opened my notebook. I keep a private one for when life becomes a series, and wrote down the agenda. I am not kidding. Bullet points. 1. Say, loan, not, gift. 2. Present letter plus incident number. 3. Ask for return. No insults. 4. Boundaries. No borrowing high-value items. 5. Ask for apology? Maybe. It felt absurd and necessary, like packing snacks for a gauntlet. At 5 p.m., Mr. Delgado, this man is my co-author now, emailed again. If needed, stores are within their rights to retain items with disputed ownership pending law enforcement confirmation. We can also provide a direct verification to any merchant who calls. He included a clause in parentheses, depending on jurisdiction. I made a folder on my desktop called Watch Fallout because we name our dragons to keep them tame. At 5:40, Ivy texted, They made me feel like a thief. It took everything in me not to write, why would that be? Instead, I wrote, You can bring the watch and box to my apartment at 6. We can discuss calmly. She wrote back, Mom said the brand can remove the flag if you ask. And then, you owe me an apology for making a scene. The audacity tasted metallic in my mouth. At exactly 6:01, there was a knock. Maya squeezed my shoulder, a small press of her palm between my bones. I opened the door to a procession, Mom with her lips pressed thin like thread, Dad with his hands in his pockets like he hoped this was a drill, Aunt Sloan with a tote bag like she was here to moderate a panel, Ivy with the green box like a trophy and a scowl like a curtain. They took seats around my living room, as if we were about to stage an intervention, which is funny because we were. Before we start, I said, breath steady for once, this is being documented. I lifted my phone and set it on the table, screen lit, voice memos open. There was a visible ripple through the group. Mom's eyes flashed. Sloan leaned forward. Is this necessary? In our state, Maya said pleasantly, one-party consent applies to recording. This is for accuracy. No one intends to publish anything. She said publish, like she was setting a mousetrap with a manicure. Mom started. Of course she did. You made a scene, she said. Ivy was humiliated. A young woman at a store being treated like a criminal because you called some helpline. Do you understand the optics? The manager said, flagged, in front of other customers. I called the manufacturer, I said, and I filed an incident report because my property was being sold without my consent. It was a gift, Ivy shot back, gripping the box. Her eyes were rimmed red, not from tears, but from rage that wanted to be tears. It was a loan, I said. Words mean things. I slid the letter of ownership across the coffee table. The paper made a pleasing little whisper. I also laid my printed incident report confirmation, the serial highlighted. I felt like a lawyer in a TV show about a competent lawyer, which I am not. Sloane adjusted her cardigan, the tell that she was about to weaponize language. You gave it to her. You walked into her apartment with the box. No witnesses to your loan claim. The scare quotes were out. Your behavior is punitive. She needed it for an interview. I don't wear watches to interviews, I said, and then shook my head, starting again. Ivy, you asked to borrow it. I said yes. Your listing showed the serial number and warranty card. You cannot pretend this was an outfit accessory that got lost in translation. It was going to be temporary, Ivy snapped. I was testing the market. I would have bought it from you. Testing the market. I said it like it was a foreign dish I'd just tried and decided I was allergic to. Dad, who had been perfecting his invisibility cloak for decades, suddenly found a sentence. He exhaled like a punctured tire. Your mother said if she needed to cover the credit card, then sell my watch? I said, turning my head so slowly it probably looked rehearsed. With my warranty card? Without asking me? Mom went defensive maternal, that brittle wind that can strip paint. We are a family. Resources are shared. Ivy is at a critical point in her career. You barely wear the thing. Stop, I said. I don't raise my voice often, but when I do, my tone drops like an elevator. You made a choice about my property. You assumed my consent. And when I exercised my right to say, no, you called it humiliation, I tapped the letter of ownership. This is not a family value. This is a legal value. I felt my hands shake, but my voice was a metronome. I read from my notes because I am nothing if not on brand under duress. Policy from the merchant. Hold pending dispute. Policy from the brand. Flagged serial. Owner verification required. Policy from me. You don't borrow high-value items anymore. Full stop. If you need something for an interview, borrow my blazer, not my assets. Sloane opened her mouth, but Maya beat her. To avoid further escalation, she said in that hostage negotiator calm, the next steps are simple. Ivy returns the watch, box, warranty card, and accessories to Quinn right now. Quinn will then inform the shop and the brand that the item is back in her possession. Quinn will not pursue criminal charges. Ivy will not attempt to sell the item again. She smiled without showing teeth. We can all go home. Or, Mom said, and I swear she actually wagged a finger, you can remove the flag and apologize to your sister for embarrassing her. That's what we're here to request. We want you to send an email and retract. The old Quinn would have started explaining. The new Quinn looked at Ivy's hands. They were tight on the box. Her knuckles had little crescent moons from her own nails. For a second, I felt the sister ache that used to undo me when she skinned a knee at 7. Then the adult ache took over. The flag stays, I said. It's a seatbelt. If you never drive the car off a cliff, you never notice it. We stared at each other over an $800 side table like it was a courtroom bench. The room vibrated with all the unspoken stuff. Who got what attention as kids? Who got to be the good one? Who kept the peace with jokes? Who swallowed fights like vitamins? Dad looked down. Sloane looked at Mom. Mom looked at me like I was a problem to manage. Ivy looked scared. Not of me, of gravity finally applying to her life. Then my phone buzzed. I jumped. Everyone jumped. I flipped it over and read the banner. Ryan, Update. Holding per policy. Seller signed acknowledgement. If you can stop by tomorrow with ID, we'll release to you, or confirm with PD for pickup. I read it out loud because sometimes truth needs volume. They're holding it. Pending my ID or police confirmation. I looked up at Ivy. You can hand the box over now, or I can pick it up from the shop tomorrow. Either way, this ends today. Her eyes filled in a way that finally looked wet, not just hot. She shoved the box to the middle of the table. Fine, she said. Take it. Then, because we are never content to be simply wrong, we must be wrong and injured, she added. You're ruining my future. Your future, I said almost softly because I was tired, does not run on my watch. Mom inhaled like a Victorian ant getting the vapors. You are heartless. I am done being harvestable, I replied. The moment cracked. The wind went out of the room. Sloane stood, smoothing her skirt. We should go, she said, like she was excusing the theater troupe after a dress rehearsal that went badly. Dad muttered, Let's go, because he can only echo. Ivy grabbed her bag but not the box. Mom hovered like a storm cloud that hadn't decided where to rain. We are not done, she said. We are, I said, for tonight. They filed out. The door clicked shut. The winder hummed. My living room was suddenly a safe house. Maya exhaled a laugh that sounded like a sigh. The line about seatbelts? That was chef's kiss. I want to be a different person, I said, which sounded melodramatic even as I said it. I want to be someone who doesn't narrate a boundary like a TED Talk. I want to be someone who didn't hand the grenade to begin with. You were generous, she said. Someone twisted it. That's not a character flaw. That's a data point. I stared at the green box like it might spring teeth. I didn't open it. I think I didn't want to see the inside without a chain of custody and a velvet rope. Instead, I picked up my phone and emailed Ryan. Thank you. Family dispute resolved in the sense that they returned the box and card. I'll bring ID tomorrow morning for verification and pickup. I also have the incident number if necessary. He replied, Great. We'll be here from 10 a.m. At 9:31 p.m., because the man apparently does not sleep, Mr. Delgado sent one more email. For completeness, we've noted in our system that the owner reported an attempted unauthorized sale and that the serial remains flagged. If you choose to transfer ownership in the future, we can update our records via a notarized letter. Until then, our recommendation is to keep a copy of your letter of ownership with the item and avoid sharing the warranty card. He didn't add like ever again, but I felt the kindness in the omission. Then the phone lit again, and I stupidly looked. Ivy had gone live, not to her 1,000 strangers, no, to her close friends list, which I used to be on. A friend of her ex screenshotted it and sent it to me within minutes because the world is one giant gossipy backyard. There she was, blotchy, apologetically ambient lighting, doing the tearful monologue. Some people, she said, don't want you to succeed. Even family. They hold you back with paperwork and policies and jealousy. She swallowed theatrically. I just wanted to make a good impression for my interview, and I got treated like a criminal. A store clerk humiliated me. My own sister humiliated me. Anyway, if you've ever been betrayed by someone who says they love you, I see you. The comments poured in. Ugh, haters. Cut toxic people. You deserve that watch, queen. I closed the video because I'm not a masochist. I was, however, an archivist. I saved it. A ding. A DM from a mutual of Ivy's I barely knew, named Kat. Hey, I probably shouldn't get involved, she wrote, which is what people say right before they get involved in the most delicious way. But she was talking about selling that watch to me like 2 weeks ago, before she even asked you. Attached, a chat screenshot. Ivy. I'm going to borrow Quinn's thing and flip it. The market is crazy, RN. My laugh came out like a bark. I wrote back, thank you, this helps. Then I forwarded it to the folder named Watch Fallout, because if we're going to do this, we're going to do it with receipts. And because you're here for the cliffhangers. A week later, I got the last piece. A friend of Ivy's, another one of those shouldn't get involved saints, forwarded me screenshots of DMs from before the dinner. Weeks before, Ivy. I found the comps. If I list it now, mark it as hot. I'll ask you to borrow on Sunday. Plan, not impulse. Intention, not accident. It should have broken my heart. It didn't. It sealed it. Not in a hard way, more like a healed bone, stronger at the mend. So when my phone rings now and it's unknown and my stomach does that flip, I breathe once and let it pass, because the call I needed already came. The shop called to verify. The brand called me the owner. The part of me that always defaulted to family first called in sick. And the new part, the part that files, flags, and says no without a footnote, showed up. And she's staying. Didn't throw a parade, I drew a line. 3 months, low contact. No surprise drop-ins, no we were in the neighborhood, no family emergency, unless someone was literally on fire. Everything in writing. Email me, I said. Like a customer service department with 1 agent and 0 patients. Borrowing policy, closed for renovation. If you need something for an interview, I'll iron your blouse. If you need cash, try a budget, not my jewelry box. It sounded cold even to me, but it felt like a seatbelt clicking. Boundaries don't make you safe, they make you safer. I asked for one thing from Ivy, a public post. Nothing dramatic, nothing Shakespearean. Please remove the listing, and put up a short note. The watch was not a gift. I'm sorry for the confusion. Not to humiliate her, just to wipe the serial number off the internet and off my nerves. She stalled, she bargained, she pitched a Notes app manifesto. I said 2 sentences, or I leave the flag forever and let the rumor mill grind your reputation instead. She posted a tiny apology, bleached of adjectives. I printed it anyway. Receipts live in folders now. Aunt Sloan took me to coffee and tried on honesty like a jacket she wasn't sure fit. I thought keeping peace was love, she said, stirring nothing in her cup. I see how it becomes permission. It wasn't an apology, but it was a translation. I accepted it. Dad texted a lone sentence that hit me sideways. Proud of how you handled it. No qualifiers, no ellipses, no your mother thinks, just a small brick in a wall I didn't know he could build. Mom wrote me an essay about optics. I didn't reply. Not cruel, just quiet. Silence is not a weapon if you put it down gently. Sunday, I met Maya for brunch, and yes, I wore the watch. Not as a victory lap, more like a wedding ring to myself. We sat on the patio, and I held my coffee so the light caught the brushed steel. She snapped a photo. Caption, not for sale. The hum in my chest matched the hum of the winder waiting at home. That soft proof of life. Strangers double-tapped. I don't care about the strangers. I cared about the part of me that believed it. Here's what the story taught me. Read aloud clear. Family is not a group project where one person brings the lasagna and the other brings your bank account. Paper beats promises. Policy beats pleading. Transparency beats keep the peace. Stop auditioning for a role in someone else's forgiveness arc. Write your own script and keep your serial number covered. I started running again on Sundays. Phone on Do Not Disturb. Playlist loud enough to clean the corners of my brain. The group chat pings still land like rain on a roof I finally repaired. First therapy session, I sat down and announced, "Hi, I'd like to stop confusing generosity with consent." My therapist smiled like a person unwrapping a clock she already knows how to fix. We set a cadence, weekly, like a heartbeat. I'm not wearing the watch every day. That was never the point. It lives on the winder, and when I pass it, I hear a motor and a promise. I don't owe anyone the easy version of me to keep the room comfortable. I owe myself the version that won't be harvested. If you're listening for a moral, it's this. Guard your edges. Flag your cereals. And when someone says family, check whether they mean love or inventory.